I went a bit overboard last year and bought so many supplies for pocket pages. I thought I would move from a 12 by 12 page to a Project Life style, but it just wasn't for me. Now I'm left with lots of supplies I like, but they are so small I'm not sure how to use them. Is it possible to make 12 by 12 pages from my pocket page stash? Glitter Girl, can you help?
Of course I can. And today I'm going to try doing it all with a Project Life for documenting kit, a pocket page kit, if you were. So this is a Studio Calico documenter kit. And what I have on the table to add to it is just 2 sheets of 12 by 12 cardstock. One to use as a background and one to be able to do some matting so that I have something to go around 4 by 6 photos. But I'm going to try to keep everything else to what's in the kit. Now I haven't had a good look at this kit, so I'm going to open it now and have a look. So I've got washi with numbers, paper clips that are ampersands, Great Outdoors set of stamps, little tick box style list post-it note type journaling things. Could I say type anymore in there? Yeah. Teeny tiny little blue stars. Some vellum pieces with a tree on it. Let's see what else is in there. Are they all trees or are they different things? That one's a tree. Leaf. Okay, so some different vellum die-cutty shapes. Okay. There's a September, but I'm not going to use that. It's quite lovely though. It's like a foam. It's flexible. But these pictures are in October, so I'm just going to put that aside straight away. Alpha, that's going to be the other thing that's going to be interesting. So I've just got one teeny tiny little gray alpha. So this was when the kit was. This is September 2016. I got this in the sale for like $5, so it is older. 2 sheets of those labels, the same color as that background cardstock, and then quick flip through the photos, or the cards. So these are 4 by 6 cards here, some with gold foil, some that could be big or cut down smaller. Lots with lines and grids to make for easy journaling. Is that all one card? It looked like 2 to me, but it's not. It's 1. Okay, so that's the big cards. And then the little ones. So I think I need to maybe pull this kit out also for some more of the camping photos, because there's definitely a outdoor camping type vibe. And I can certainly get plenty of pages from this. Field notes might be an interesting way to use the journaling on here. So I'm going to pull that one out straight away so I don't lose it. Trees. Ooh, and a pretty gold wood grain. Mountain. Okay, so that's what I've got to work with. All right, now let's get started. I've got 2 photos today, 2 4 by 6 photos, and they are from Blenheim Palace, the gardens at Blenheim Palace, at an object called the Harry Potter tree. And basically, this is one of the trees that was used in filming the Harry Potter films, and by reading everything that was next to the tree, and we discovered that a lot of the big trees that you see in the films, like the Whomping Willow and things like that, because they chose trees that were so big and old, they are no more. I know I want to include these elements, but my normal process then would be to cut lots of pieces of pattern paper and put behind there, but I don't have giant sheets of pattern paper that are going to layer behind all of that. I need to work with these smaller things. So let's see what could go behind, maybe in some smaller pieces. I had that wood grain foil piece. I probably should have pulled that out as well so that I wouldn't lose it. Oh, here it is. Okay. I like this one. This is cream. Let's start with this. Okay, so I'm going to cut some of it to go up here. Now I'm going to try building it just on to here before I start attaching things to the background. And that one's going to go on top on this side, so I'll go ahead and attach that. And so I'm going to try and compose this and then stick it on the background, and I think that might kind of help my process since I don't have the pieces that I would normally have. That's white on white, but I quite like that. And if I decide that I don't, I can add a label or something in between. Speaking of labels, okay, so what labels do I have here? Okay, I'm not going to add them yet, but I want to keep them in mind. What do I think about the cream on top? Actually, I like the white and the cream together if I've got enough to then put cream up there as well, and that pattern does not go all the way up to the top. I do have that same tree in green, but I think the cream actually adds some depth. But I need a little bit more of something cream to bring it up there so that it doesn't look like a mistake. It looks like it's framed and the color is repeating. So let's see what I can find. It's still pretty white. That yellow might be nice as a contrast. Oh, come on, let there be a little bit more cream in here somewhere. Not in the small ones. I don't remember there being any in here. White, 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 pink. Huh. Okay. The washi, even the washi is a bit more white. Okay, so then my other option then is to cut this so that I'll be able to. So I'm going to gut this bit here. That bit's going to go up there somewhere. This bit's going to come over here. Considering, do I want to add ink to it? But I'm liking the clean so far, so I'm going to try sticking to no ink. Okay. Now, that one can go along there, or here. And then I have this yellow that would make a really nice contrast. But I think I'd really like it to be a different shape. I wonder if I've got a leaf die cut or punch that would work. I could do yellow leaves. I've actually got this one on my desk still. Okay. I'm going to use my own rule of don't keep looking for things if you have something to hand that could work. So I think I will try 2 of these in each grouping. There's a little more space on the card if I need to come back for anything else. I think this might be a nice divider that I was looking for between all these shapes, or all these shades of white and cream. So I can just have that as a little bit of contrast right on those edges. Bring that one up to the top. What else from this kit do I want to put on? I'm going to use those as my little, oh, they're kind of plasticky. They're not even plasticky, they're plastic. They're made from plastic. I thought they were paper, they're not. Yeah, I need to figure out where my title's going to go if I'm just going to use those little bitty stickers for my title. I have a feeling that using a big tree on this is kind of overkill. It's going to take the attention away from the tree that's in the pictures, so maybe not that. What about these darker ones? That maybe would be nice underneath those leaves. You know, the leaves I've already put down. Would be nice underneath them. Let's see. Come on. Yeah, and then I will add the adhesive to this on the back there so that it's not so visible. And pop this one up here. Oh, wrong way. Oops, come on. There we go. Going to go ahead and stick all of this down now. And see if I can get that roughly straight. I think so. And I won't lie, I am struggling at where I would want to put bits of pattern paper and things. I'm going to bring in some washi in an attempt to have a little bit more color and well, not color, a bit more pattern that can go a little bit further across the page. So I'm going to pick this bit up here again, tuck the end of that there, and try again because that's really wonky and I wanted it to be a little bit more in line. I wanted it to go right along the edge of the photo there. It's quite a transparent washi, so everything's going to show through, including those mattes, but also including this the sparkle of that gold foil wood grain there, and I quite like that. The theme of numbers has nothing to do with what I'm doing here, and I think sometimes if you do want to limit yourself to a kit, it does mean that you're going to work a little bit more randomly than you might otherwise. Just something to consider. That's not straight either. I think I need to kind of stand up a little bit straighter today. Everything seems to be going a little bit wonkier than planned. Maybe it's one of those days where I should have just purposely made everything wonky, and it's too late for that now. That looks a little better. these are going to scatter, but I'm going to do that at the very end. How about these? So I can bring in a little bit of this color and pick that leaf up again. So I can tuck it underneath there. Gosh, I'm covering up a lot of that gold. I think I'll bring it over a little bit and put it under both of these so I have a little bit more of the gold. And I think that there's two of that same one on there, so I'm going to use this one down here too. This one I'm going to go over the vellum under this leaf here. That leaf has just told me, don't you dare pick me up again, or I will shred into a million pieces. Okay, Mr. Leaf, down you go. So that gives me a good place for dates, for names. Oh, wait, I don't even need that. I have date here. So anyway, I can put subtitles on there if needed. And I think that the washi is helping give that little bit of a longer piece that you need when you're working on the 12 by 12 canvas and everything is smaller pieces. So if you are working within 3 by 4 and 4 by 6 supplies and you're trying to stretch them to a 12 by 12, look for something like washi. I think that really will help you be able to lengthen things and have it not feel quite so disjointed, because this can go over all of those different layers, which brings it all together. To put the facts about the tree onto the journaling card, there's no way that I would remember all the little details about what kind of tree it was and how old it was and all of that sort of thing, but there was a sign next to the tree, not particularly beautiful sign that I would want to put in the scrapbook, but it had all the facts. So I took the picture of the sign so that it would be in my photo library next to these two photos, and then I could just grab the name of the tree, when it was planted, why it's important, all of that stuff. And I did move one of these leaves up here at the top just so that I'd be able to put a little bit of writing on this label to make it match the one that's down here. So I'm just going to move, this leaf was down here and I'm just moving it up there a little bit. Now, what else have I got in the kit? Well, I haven't added any title lettering, so I'm going to do that next. And I'm just going to have a little look at how these gray letters look on top of the navy background. Yep, I think it's going to be pretty subtle, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with subtle. Just a different look. So, teeny tiny title in gray stickers that's going to run right along here. Those letter stickers work fine, and the nice thing about teeny tiny letter stickers is you get plenty of letters, so I haven't even run out of ours, having used 4 in that title, so I can get more from it. I might also bring in some of these tiny little stars when I get to my blue star embellishments, but if the teeny tiny letters are not going to be a good title for whatever page you're working on, if you need something that's a bit bolder, then I would suggest looking at those big 4x6 cards, because that's what they were meant to be, something like a title on a pocket page, so they could work as a title on a 12x12 page without any problem. I just couldn't do it with this kit because there was nothing that was a particularly good match to these photos. I mean, I suppose I could call walking up to a tree an adventure, but I think it's a little bit of a stretch. So instead, I'm going to do that. Now, what I would like to do to get a little bit more on this page is to try to use the stamps. I've got textured dark cardstock, so I'm going to try a white ink, but because I'm not sure if it's going to work perfectly, and just because it gives me a little bit more, oh, what shall we say, a little bit of a better chance. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. A better chance at getting it right. I'm going to use a stamping tool. This is the Misty stamping tool. So this lets me put my page down in place with some magnets. And essentially this folds over and acts like a giant acrylic block. So I figure out where I want my stamp to be. And I've just tested my white ink, so clear off my stamp a little bit. I just wanted to make sure. I hadn't used this white ink pad in a while, and I wasn't sure how fabulous it was, but it has worked fine. So I can take this, put my stamp where I want it to be, and I'm going to stamp a little bit up here and a little bit down here. So that's going to go right there. Close this up so that that picks it up there. And now I can ink it just as if this were any old acrylic block. And then I can close it up. Because the page is held right in place, if I need to pick it up and put it back down again because I don't get the perfect impression, I can. Whereas if I was doing it even with a clear block, it can be a challenge to make sure I get it perfect. So because this is textured paper, it is a little bit imperfect at the moment. I'm not sure how perfect I will get it on textured cardstock, so I'm going to try it one more time. Because I can with this tool. See what happens. And it's not going to look great. I think the solid on top of the textured cardstock is not amazing. So instead of trying to use the writing inside, I'm just going to use that shape, and I'm going to layer some things over the top. So I'm going to move up to this corner so that I can make that shape appear in two places. So it's going to be right there. Pick it up, and I'll do it just like I did on this side, doing two stamps so that I lose the words in the middle and just get that shape. Now, this same stamp with dye ink on smooth paper will look completely different. You would definitely be able to read it, because you can read the day trip there, but the rest of the stamp just doesn't look very crisp. And that's completely because of the combination of the textured cardstock and the fact that I'm using a pigment ink to be able to do the white on the navy, and a pigment ink is more like using a wet paint rather than an ink that dries instantly. Okay, now, done with that stamp, but do want to use one that isn't that same sort of shape. I want to put this little word stamp right down in the bottom corner. It says, "This is why I always carry a camera." My last bits of embellishment are going to overlap on top of those little stamped bits and add in the stars. I'm going to repeat that punched leaf and the same color, but instead of using the solid paper, I'm going to use one of the vellum die cuts. Should be able to get 2 leaves out of this without any trouble, I hope. There we go. And I have all my stars that I want to use. My effort here is to make it with just what's in the kit. So there are plenty of things I could add for my stash if I wanted to start with the kit to get a little bit of use out of the kit, and then add in extra things. That's definitely a possibility. It's probably easier. It would give you more flexibility if you have other stash that you would use more traditionally for 12 by 12 pages. But I like a challenge. There's nothing wrong with a challenge now and then. And so what I want to do is to try my best to use just what's in the kit and not anything else. So that if we were in a hypothetical situation where I got rid of all my my 12 by 12 supplies, all I would really need was some backing paper, and then I could still make plenty of 12 by 12 pages. Okay, maybe that's a little bit of a crazy hypothetical, but you know, I can try. So if I pretend that, then I will stay true to what's here in the kit. Scattering some stars at the moment. And layering these leaves right over the top of those stamped hexagons. Whoop. That one's still a bit wet, so it doesn't want to stick. There we go. That's another thing that probably would have been a better stamping idea, but still might have lost the words in the middle, especially on the texture cardstock, is I could have, instead of tried to use the opaque white ink, could have used Versamark ink and embossed it in gold to match the gold foil that I'd used already. So that's another option with the stamps and dark paper, of course. And then I had some gold, or not gold, gray stars here, and I've actually got 2 sizes. So let's see. I'm trying to use these in my enamel dot comfort zone, where I would normally use enamel dots. I'm trying to use these little stars. Oh, and I just took that one off without the adhesive on the back. Come on. Stickers work best when they keep their sticky. That one just needs a little tidy and straighten there. Got 3 gray stars up there at the top. Put 3 down here. None of the tiny ones want to come off the sheet. They're just not cut all the way through. There, that one did. One more. Get one more to come off. That. Now, as much as I can say that I have this hypothetical situation where I get rid of all my 12 by 12 scrapbooking supplies and I'm left only with pocket page supplies, you know I wouldn't get rid of my gold mist. So that's where I'm going to finish. I'm going to repeat this diagonal line with mist. One, because gold on navy is gorgeous. It just always looks so pretty. Whoop, that one is a little bit giant, but that's okay. I'll add another giant one. I'll let that dry so that it's nice and shiny. And that's going to be the page all finished. Do I still have loads of supplies left in this kit? Yes, huge amounts. Look, massive stack, because I've only used 1, 2, 3 of the 3x4 cards. I've used none of the 4x6 cards. I still have lots of everything. So I could keep going with this sort of page design with these supplies for a long time. I've got the paper clips still, and I didn't use them because I'd pulled out the gold here, and these were more of a chromey silver. So I just thought I would keep those for another page where I wasn't already starting with so much gold. But that's it. That's where I'm going to leave it, and I definitely think you can get a whole bunch of stuff onto a 12 by 12 page from a 3x4 based or a 4x6 based pocket page kit. It can definitely be done. So if you've changed your mind about where you're going with your supplies, or if you just went a little bit overboard and bought a little bit of everything, don't ignore them on your 12x12s. If this page is looking a little bare to your eye, when you start a page like this, consider swapping the solid cardstock for a patterned paper, even if it's just something really neutral like a grid or a crosshatch or a tiny little polka dot, anything like that that's just a really little pattern. We'll still let your eye go to all of this focus, but we'll keep it from feeling like this space is very open. Thanks so much for watching. If you have a question for Glitter Girl, please do leave it in the comments or join our Facebook group, Scrapbook Like a Superhero, to talk about anything. Share what you've made, share your questions or things that you want to talk about in all things scrapbooking. You are always welcome there. If you'd like to see more videos, please thumbs up and subscribe. I'll see you very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.